There isn't any conscious choosing when we're reacting.
Right.
So in reality, it's almost as if we're just treading water, right? Just doing our best to keep our head above water,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes I see my clients, they come in and I'm like, oh dear, how you doing?
Yes.
Like, are you in there? And so, that's the key, is recognizing that, oh, wait a minute. Yes, I could be just bounced around like a little pinball in a pinball machine, or I can stop and go, wait a minute, what is it that I need? How can I nourish my mental and physical body right now so that I am more present, so that I'm not being reactive, but I can be proactive. And it takes practice.
Right.
Sometimes we're better at it. If we're really exhausted, we're more apt to be reactionary and feel like we have to put out the fires. And then when we have more energy, it's a little easier at times. And so that's why it's so important to have practical tools that we can play with and find what works for us. Because otherwise we're just going to cause another kind of overwhelm.
Right. So I know you've developed a technique, to really help us get that tool to use. And this is going to truly create that healing environment, not just physically, but mentally and all, around for us. Can you talk into that?
Yes. So what I found I needed to do, and I'll share that story, and what really benefited clients was first checking in, just giving ourselves the permission to stop or to pause. Right. And a pause doesn't have to take long. That can be 3 breaths. That could be the time it takes to wash our hands properly. Right. This isn't we don't have to make this huge.
Right.
And in that check-in, I share the ABCs.
Okay.
ABCs of mindfulness. And when I say mindfulness, I'm really talking about being present in the moment without judging or criticizing ourselves. And we're going to get pulled out of the moment. And when we realize, we bring ourselves right on back as best as we can.
Right, right.
And so awareness is the A. Let's be aware, right? Let's listen and check into our body. It's okay to feel sad or hungry, but what type of hungry is it? Sometimes we're not hungry for food. We're hungry for a hug, or we're hungry for laughter, right? Or we might really be angry. And those are okay, but let's check in and name them. Right? Acknowledge them. Okay. Because when we name things, what we find out is that in functional MRIs, they have found that the brain does not get overwhelmed or light up as much when we do go, oh, I see you, sadness. Right? It gives us a little room so we can make more choices instead of reacting.
Nice.
And then the B is be with it. Breathe. Be with that. Don't try to push it down. Don't try to shove it in a cabinet and close the door and lock it away, because that in itself can cause chronic stress. And when we really push things down in our body physically has to deal with that. And that can be way too much. And it can provide little seeds that can make you sick over time.
Right, right.
And the C is consciously choose, right? If we can take that little pause, then we can choose. What would make this better for me? What are the options here, right? I think of this as our little switching lane. Instead of blaming or, finding fault or the criticism or the judgment, we can really go to a place where we're curious and we can engage. And when we ask questions, it just changes the energy of the situation.
Right.
And so choosing, like, wow, I feel so tired right now, for example, right? If someone were to say that and to go, wait a minute, I have 15 minutes before my next meeting. I'm going to go for a 5-minute walk really quick. right? And that can just be one of those tools in your personal toolbox, knowing that a 5-minute walk will just perk you up and clear the brain fog and
Mhm.
give you a minute to check in and go, what's going on? Oh, I'm nervous about that talk I'm going to do. Or, oh, I feel really sad that my poor child didn't get to go to camp this week because it was canceled. Or,
Right.
oh, I've got so much to do for work, and
Right.
overwhelming myself instead of going, pick one thing. Just
Right.
pick one thing, right?
Right.